What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Getting into this episode of Y&R. Billy continues to get on my nerves. Like, he wants to sit there and get mad at Victor for bringing Adam back to town. Talking about, oh, why did you bring Adam back to town? That's his son. What are you talking about? That's his kid. You know what I mean? Of course and first of all, Billy does not own Genoa City. You do not dictate who comes and goes from that town. You know what I mean? Like, who does he think he is? At the end of the day, Billy needs to take responsibility for what happened to his daughter. But I guess for him, it's easier to put all the blame and responsibility on Adam to make himself feel better. Because he just refuses to take any accountability for what happened. Adam was wrong that night, hitting that little girl. I'm pretty sure it was an accident. He didn't do it on purpose, but he was wrong for the aftermath of it. He was wrong for covering it up, letting Victor blackmail him. He was wrong for that. You know what I mean? But Billy has never taken accountability for his part. You should have never left that child in the car by herself, especially at night. What were you thinking? As a parent, if you are with your child, a little kid, and you want to go into the store to get some ice cream, I don't care if it's during the day. You don't leave no child in a car by themselves. Take them with you. Period. You never leave a child in a car. I don't care if it's during the day. I don't care if it's at night. Never. No. Anything can happen. No. They could get curious. They might see something out the window, open the handle, open the door, get out, unbuckle themselves. They can do all of that. Anything can happen in a split second. All it takes is 1 second. He talking about, oh, I was only in the store for this amount of time. It does not matter. It only takes 1 second for something to happen. He should have known that. But of course, he rather blame other people than take any type of responsibility for it. And for him to sit there and come to Victor's office, trying to blast him for bringing Adam back to town, I'm glad Victor was very nonchalant with him. He was like, if that's all, I got work to do. You know what I mean? Like, Victor, you know how Victor is. He'll shrug you off in a minute like you're a little cockroach. Victor don't care. That's what I love about Victor, though, because Victor is the definition of unbothered. Like, you could be screaming in his face, whatever. Victor will sit right there with his arms folded and look at you with his glasses on. Have his glasses tilt down to his nose looking right at you. Very unbothered. That's what I love about Victor. He just don't care. Victor don't give a damn who you are or what you're talking about. You ain't gonna come into his place of business and think you're gonna talk to him any kind of way. And Billy, I guess, was real mad because he made Billy even madder because Victor wasn't giving him the reaction that Billy wanted. I'm like, that's how Victor is. And that's what I like. So anyway, Victoria. It's so funny to me how Victoria sits there and tell Adam, oh, I'm not afraid of you. Oh, you don't faze me. You don't this. I'm not bothered by you. I'm not worried about you. Obviously, for somebody who's walking around talking about how unbothered you are, clearly you're bothered. Because why else would you show up to his hospital room wanting to know what he's up to? If you're unbothered and you're not scared of him, you're not worried about him, why are you worried about what his agenda is? Since you're so unbothered, as you say. Like, an unbothered person is just that. Unbothered. They're not thinking about you. They're not talking about you. They're not talking to you. They're unbothered. Clearly, you're bothered. Like, obviously. She's been talking about Adam and thinking about Adam the second he stepped foot in Genoa City. She's been thinking and talking about him and trying to figure out his plans. I love the way Adam was kind of toying with her because in a way it seemed like he was playing with her. But he told her he was going to tell her his future plans and stuff, but he wanted to tell her and Nick. That can only mean bad things. But I do feel like Adam definitely knows who shot him, but he's not going to tell nobody because he got his own plans. Because he got a text message and he's looking for a fall guy. Now, if I'm correct, and I'm just guessing, I'm hypothesizing here. With Kevin coming back, what if Chloe was the one that shot Adam? She heard that Adam was back in town, found out somehow, maybe she shot him, and Kevin is the fall guy. Or Adam set up the whole shooting himself, and to stop the investigation, he got to get a fall guy, which still could mean Kevin might be the fall guy. You know what I'm saying? Because Adam got his memory back a little bit too fast for my taste. I was like, so a bullet, so you get shot by a bullet and you instantly get your memory back? I was like, yeah, something in the milk ain't clean. Something ain't right. I said, nope. Adam is definitely playing the game. Now, what his future plans are, I'm intrigued to find out. Because God knows Victor's playing the game too. Because Adam was trying to figure out what Victor's agenda is. He thinks that Victor's trying to pit him against Victoria again like they did in the past. Victor never denied it. He never once denied it. He didn't deny nor confirm. So you know how Victor is. I'm like, all of them are just playing a deadly game at this point. Like, y'all are playing with fire. And somebody eventually gonna get burned. Especially when you're dealing with Victor and Adam. I'm like, this is not a game y'all want to play. I'm just saying. Because people get hurt when you play these types of games. But I'm intrigued by this storyline. Because I want to know, like, who's doing what? What's the end game? Like, what is Adam's plan? What is Victor's plan? I don't know. So far, Victor seemed like he just want to get the family back together, but I don't think it's that cut and dry, because it never is with Victor. He got another scheme at hand. Question is, what are they trying to do? Like, I don't even know what Adam's plan is. Like, I'm intrigued by all this, because I like not knowing, because it like makes you think. It makes you be a detective. Like, you got to find the clues. You got to figure everything out. So anyway, Victoria, of course, sitting there listening to Billy. Billy talking about, oh, you got to stop him. We got to stop him because you worked hard at Newman. And we can't let him take your spot. Why are you listening to Billy? Billy don't even work for Newman. He never will. Victor ain't gonna, he's not allowing that. So why are you sitting there listening to him, letting him put all these ideas in your head? And how do you plan on stopping? How does she plan on stopping Adam if he does end up working back at Newman? At the end of the day, Victor's the chairman and CEO, so it's his decision who works there and who don't, and if Adam even wants to work there. So how is Vicky thinking she gonna stop him? Like, you don't even know what his agenda is. Why don't you hear what the plan is first, then act accordingly? I'm just saying, don't sit there listening to Billy, because Billy don't know what he's talking about. Billy's just, he wants Victoria to strike at Adam first just to make him feel better. So that way he could try to keep his little hands clean by Victoria going after him instead of him personally. So he's trying to fill her mind up with all this caca about, oh, you need to strike first. You need to do. Shut up, Billy. I don't know why she's sitting there entertaining that notion from him. Like that. See, I like Victoria, but sometimes this is why Victor, I feel like, has an issue with leaving her in charge of Newman. Because you're sitting there basing your decisions off of something that somebody else is telling you. Instead of going with your gut, instead of, you know what I mean? Like going with your own instincts, your own ideas, your own mind. You know, that's not how people in business doing. Like, you want to keep your seat at the big table at Newman. Think like a business person. Think with business, not emotion. Right now, she's letting emotion and Billy get all up in her head about what to do next. Why are you listening to Billy? Billy's not no big business genius. So what you listening to him for? Don't listen to him and get yourself fired from Newman, because you know Victor ain't playing. He will fire you in a second. Don't sit there, especially if you're sitting there listening to Billy. Please don't listen to that fool. You see what you know, the mess he created at Jabot when he was there. Well, still there. God only knows why. Because if I was Jack, I would have fired him. But anyway, moving on from that. So Kyle and Lola are pretty much house hunting, well, apartment hunting and stuff like that. They're trying to figure out on price, like how much they want to pay in rent, what their prices. Of course, she's not trying to spend no arm and a leg. She don't want Kyle covering her share of the rent and stuff like that. I get it. You know, she want to be Miss Independent. I respect it. But of course, they're pretty much about to move into Ray's apartment above Crimson Lights. I mean, it's not a bad apartment, but why would y'all want to live there? I'm just saying, above Crimson Lights, why? Well, then again, they won't have a short walk to go get some coffee and some donuts in the morning, you know, some pastries. that is good. You know, it might be fun living above Crimson Lights. Who knows? But then again, you know, Y&R ain't trying to spend no more money on no new set, seeing as how they just got the Society set, and I know that costs a lot of money. So they not trying to give them no new apartment set. I don't blame them. You know, use the sets that you got, even if you got to recycle and do a little remodeling. It is what it is. So anyway, Ray with his little hypocritical behind come over there asking Kyle, oh, are you even divorced yet? Ray, everything about you is a hypocrite. You're sitting there scolding Kyle for moving in with Lola, then talking about they're moving in too fast. What do you think you and Sharon are doing? Hello, y'all talking about doing the same thing Kyle and Lola doing. And Kyle and Lola been dealing with each other a lot longer than you and Sharon have. You and Sharon only been technically dating a month. They've been off and on for months now. So they got a leg up on you and Sharon. So you and Sharon are moving way too fast after only barely a month of dating. Y'all talking about moving in together. And you're scolding Kyle for doing the same exact thing you're doing. Then you're asking him if his divorce is filed. So apparently Kyle did file for divorce. But it's so funny that Ray brought that up because I'm like, you're going through the same situation. Your divorce from Mia isn't even final yet. You just filed yourself. So you're in the same situation as him. So how are you going to judge him for something that you're doing? And I'm happy that Lola stepped up and basically told him, respect my choices the same way, you know, you expect me to respect yours. I said, exactly. Get out of their business. I mean, I understand he looking out for his sister. I respect that. But don't sit there on your little high horse. That's the problem with Ray. He's always on his little high horse and acting like he's holier than thou. But you're doing the same thing Kyle's doing. So don't sit there and try to lay that little guilt trip on somebody and try to play, you know, that role, that martyr role where you come in, oh, are you even divorced yet? Are you? That's the big question. Are you? You're in the same situation, so mind your business. Period. Speaking of Sharon and Ray, I do feel like it's too soon for them to be moving in together. I mean, he was sitting here trying to bond with Faith and stuff like that, buying a drone and stuff. You know, how you gonna buy a drone? You ain't got no job. I'm just saying. Like, you were just fired from the GCPD, but you got money to buy a drone. I mean, I understand he did that little work with Nikki and stuff like that, but that money gonna run out soon, so you need to figure out a new option. I'm just saying. Instead of wasting money on drones. So yeah, he was trying to win, you know, Faith over. Faith basically says she liked him and stuff. I feel like Sharon, I don't like the writing for Sharon on the show. I really don't, because it's making her seem a little too needy, a little, you know, crazy. Like, you know, when it comes to men, it's like she acts like she can't be alone for no more than 5 minutes. I'm like, how many men have you moved up into that little cottage house of yours? I'm pretty sure Faith's seen a plethora of men coming in and out of that place, including her own daddy a couple times. Like, that's a little too much for a child to be seeing. You know, like, you should be dating Ray for a little longer, a lot longer, at least a year before y'all talk about moving in together. You know what I mean? A month is way too soon. Way too soon. Like, they need to take some time and, like, really get to know each other and really date more to, you know, that's a big decision to be making, especially when you have a child, a minor child still living in the home. You know, if it was just her and all the kids were adults, then whatever, you know what I mean? But you have an impressionable child at home and you're moving all these different men up in here in a short span of time. Remember when she was dating Scotty Granger? She moved him up in here. You know, they were talking about being engaged and stuff. Like, it's too soon. Like, you're doing way too much. Like, all these little, you know, bouncy little relationships she keeps getting into. So anyway, moving on from that. So Jet decided that he was ready to go back on tour. Like, he wants to go on tour. Elena, I understand why she, you know, is hesitant about him going on tour and stuff like that because of his health. But, you know, if he can, you know, if he feels up to it, you know, he knows his limitations and stuff. Plus, I'm pretty sure he's gonna, you know, Devon's gonna make sure that he got care, you know, medical care and the best people around him and stuff like that. So it shouldn't be a problem. Elena was under the impression that she was going with him, but he was like, no, you need to build your life in Genoa City. Basically, he trying to play matchmaker. He want her to stay in GC to get to know Devon and stuff like that so they could, you know, pop off as a couple. And Devon was happy that she was talking about staying. He wanted her to stay. I'm happy Devon is finding his way of moving on and stuff like that. He deserves happiness. You know, you can't wallow in pity and misery every single day. You know, that's not what Hillary and Neil would want. Speaking of Neil, so Devon pretty much been putting off this whole reading of the will situation, and Mike was telling him, like, you can't keep putting it off along. You know, like, you got to come up with a day so we can go over, you know, Neil's estate. He's been putting off the reading of the will for quite some time now, you know, and since Neil's death. And Mike was like, well, we got to handle it one way or another. Like this, you know, we got to do this. So he thought about it. He finally decided that he's going to do it. He's going to set up a day for where they can do the reading of the will. You know, I know it's hard for him, but at the end of the day, you know, you just got to put both feet forward and do it, you know. But anyway, this was a cool little episode. I enjoyed it. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about it, and I will see you all later. Peace.